Look at a map of the Iberian Peninsula and slide your eye to the blue gap between Spain and Morocco. That narrow passage is the Strait of Gibraltar. North and west of it sit the Gulf of Cadiz and the Atlantic coast of Portugal. In these waters, a small, endangered group of killer whales, the Iberian orca subpopulation, has learned a strange new behavior that ends up in viral clips, approaching boats from behind and focusing on the rudder. Have seen the thumbnails. A yacht stern white wake, a black fin, then a bang near the rudder. Tonight, we slow this down, strip out the myths, and show what the data and field reports actually suggest, plus what sailors can do to stay safe and to help scientists understand what is happening. First, who they are. Iberian orcas are not the big worldwide population you see in nature shows. This is a small group with its own dialects, hunting styles, and family lines. They patrol the Strait of Gibraltar and the western Iberian coast. They often track fish migrations and tide lines. Like other orcas, they live in pods made of mothers, calves, siblings, and close relatives. Social learning, copying, and teaching within the pad matters here. Now, how a typical interaction plays out. Reports show the approach is usually from the stern. The orcas swim under the transom, glance off the keel, and then line up with the rudder. The focus is the moving blade, not the hull. A powerful tail slap or a jaw push makes the rudder kick. The boat yaws, the people aboard feel a sudden spin or loss of steering. Engines at idle or in neutral reduce prop wash. In many cases, the orcas lose interest once the rudder stops resisting. When the rudder is flexible or weak, it can crack. When it is sturdy, the pod may nudge and then move on. The camera, it looks like an attack. To the animals, it looks like a practiced routine around a moving part. Why this behavior? Several working ideas exist, and they do not require hatred, revenge, or a plan to sink boats. One idea is social play and exploration. Juveniles test objects, adults refine the routine, and the habit spreads inside the pod. Another idea is that the response began after a few stressful encounters and then turned into a learned behavior passed to young whales. A third idea links the behavior to prey changes. When favored fish are scarce, orcas range and experiment more, lingering near moving gear that feels or sounds like a thrashing fish. None of these ideas is proven for every case. All of them fit pieces of what observers see at the surface. Let's separate rumor from pattern. Viral videos make it look constant, but interactions cluster in specific places and seasons. Hotspots repeat. The Strait of Gibraltar, the Gulf of Cadiz, and stretches of the West Portuguese coast. Season shifts with fish and weather. Daylight hours get more reports because more boats are out and cameras are rolling. A timeline since 2020 shows spikes and lulls, not a straight upward line. Multiple boats have suffered serious damage across these years, including rudder failures and a small number of sinkings after crews safely evacuated. The same time, hundreds of transits in the same regions pass, with no problems. Both statements can be true. The risk is real, and the risk is not universal. If you are planning a passage, think like a navigator and a naturalist. Check local notices, sailor forums that summarize official reports, and live updates from regional groups that track orca locations. Plot routes that keep you in shallower coastal water when alerts are active. Reduce speed, if advised. Avoid sudden throttle changes when orcas are near the stern. If you see a pod behind you, keep hands and objects out of the water. Maintain calm voices. And prepare to shift to neutral if that is part of your local guidance. Never throw food, never strike the animals, and never deploy homemade deterrents. Protected wildlife laws apply, and harming orcas is illegal. What if contact happens? Secure life jackets. Call the Coast Guard or the local maritime authority on VHF with your position, heading, and situation. Note the time and your GPS coordinates. If safe, turn off autopilot to reduce rudder motion. If the rudder is already damaged, control the boat with sails, a drogue, or engine thrusters trained. When the animals leave, check for leaks and steering response. Head for the nearest safe harbor if you need inspection or repair. After you are secure, file a report with the appropriate regional group so future sailors see good data, not just scary clips. Let's zoom back to the whales. Why the rudder? A modern rudder is a strong, flat control surface at the end of a narrow axis. It moves, it vibrates, it resists. To an orca used to manipulating prey tuna, sharks, razor-moving blade is a tempting puzzle. A push here spins the boat, a push there stalls it. The pod learns the effect together and repeats it. You can almost hear the lesson inside the group. Try the back part, make it move, feel the reaction. The behavior makes sense without any human emotions projected onto it. There are easy myths to drop right now. Killer whales are angry and sinking 1,000 boats is not a fact. It is a headline. Orcas only attack white sailboats is not a pattern. There are many whole colors and designs in the reports. Flares, horns, or banging. Always stop them as not reliable. Sometimes the pod ignores noise and leaves only when the rudder is quiet. They are hunting the people is not supported. The focus is hardware at the stern, not the crew on deck. There are also simple truths to keep this subpopulation is small and endangered. Every death matters. Every calf matters. The safest, smartest response for people is to reduce the reward and reduce the risk. Make the rudder boring. Make the encounter short. And report promptly so others can route around active pods. Scientists can only test ideas when sailors send positions, photos of damaged gear, and careful notes about sea state, time of day, and what the whales did before, during, and after contact. If you sail these waters, your best toolkit is preparation. Pre-check your steering system and emergency gear. Carry a camera that can see the stern without a person leaning over. Preload local emergency channels and phone numbers. Sketch a shallow water alternate route. Share your plan with another skipper. Good seamanship and good data make the sea safer for everyone, people and whales. Before we close, remember what makes orcas special. They are large-brained, long-leaved, family-focused hunters who learn quickly and share habits. Stees. They teach different tricks. Wave-washing seals, flipping rays, stealing fish from lines, and yes, interacting with boat rudders. None of this requires revenge. It requires culture, the powerful animal kind. So here is the short version you can take with you. Iberian orcas. Strait of Gibraltar. Gulf of Cadiz, West Portugal. Stern approach. Rudder focus. Social learning. Hotspots and seasons.com response. Neutral if advised. Shallow route if warned. Call authorities. Report details. Protect a small, endangered population by being a careful witness as well as a careful sailor. Less fear, more facts. If you want clear ocean science without the noise, you are in the right place. I'm From Earth to Sky TV. Subscribe for maps, behavior breakdowns, and practical safety guides that help you read the water as well as the weather.